Hey everyone, welcome back to the second episode of Cheevo Talk, where we take our TA stats and just really dig through it and see what we can find. So last week, I know personally it showed how little I knew about real games. The the $60 variety, and this week I'm in charge.
Oh,
so guess what? We are going to be talking about the games that I like. The ones that you can probably get close. You know, well, if you paid over $10 for any of these, you probably paid way too much. So you could probably get about, 6 or 7 of these for that. No, probably more than that. Probably close to 10 of these for that same $60 you spent on one of those games we talked about last week. So I'm all about the gamer score. So this time, we'll see how much you know about the easiest games out there. Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, here's your nuts and bolts of this. We are judging these games based on their TA ratio. So, the lower the TA, the better the game in my book, but the higher it will climb on each list. Does that make sense, panel?
I am so nervous.
It does make sense. Do you remember what TA score is from last week, Brooke?
Oh, boy.
Oh, God, no.
Well, this is off to a great start.
Yes. Well, I have plans for Brooke if she just has nothing on these terrible games. We'll see how this progresses.
You're coming across like a super villain, Elroy. I have plans.
I have some plans for her. So
hold on, let me get Google out.
Cheater.
Hey, put up those mobile devices. This is all from the top of your head. So, as I alluded to, I got these wonderful people here, so you already know who they are, but let's hear briefly how you feel about this easy gamer score, these easy games that we're about to discuss. Where do you stand on these easy games? How about you, Em?
I don't like most of the panel, no, actually, I'm not even going to start that way. I am right in between basically everyone on the panel. I will play all the easy Radalaikas. I will also play the Red Dead Redemptions, and I will also play the Hexic HDs. So I consider myself to be fairly well-rounded about these things. Some days, it's just a day to go after gamer score. Other days, I want to sink into a good campaign. So I like a good, easy completion, but it's not the only thing I'll seek out.
Oh, all right. What about y'all, foofs?
Okay, I'll go. Yeah, so I don't really care about gamer score.
But you've played your share of terrible games, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, I play whatever game that is interesting to me at the time, but I'm not really... I don't really care about the gamer score, if I'm honest.
Well, if you enjoy good, awful games, I know for a fact that you had at your disposal a vast library of those for a full year's time. So if you were looking for games to play, I am sure that you stumbled upon a couple just jewels there that came courtesy of me as your game share partner by proxy, I guess.
Oh, yes. I definitely found some... what you would call gems of a good game.
All right. So what about you, Foof? I think we already know where you stand on these, as evidenced by your terrible gamer score.
Ouch. But yes. I'm definitely more in between. Similar to Michelle. It depends on the day. But definitely more for the, what Elroy would say is bad games.
Yes. Well, I mean... You inspire tournaments, man. That's what you are. I'm almost to the end of my foof for the year.
You are.
So I'm really excited. I get to pick up some ACAs. All right. Now, so here we go. Let's get to it. So I have taken all the Xbox games. I've looked at them by TA. And so I took the top 27.
Ooh.
Why 27, you say? Well, I DQ'd 2 of them right off the start, and that left 25. And I thought that was, top 25. We're not going to go into each one, so don't worry. We're not going to sit here and bore you to death with the top 25. However, I do want to get into, before we look at the actual games themselves, I want to first look at console. There's a lot of talk out there about, oh, the gamer score is super easy now, and then, back in the good old days, blah, blah, blah. So let's just take a look at that little claim. So question 0. This is before we start.
Okay.
Yeah. In light of all this talk about how gamer score is so easier now, this should be a no-brainer, one would think. But looking at the top 25 easiest completions, which system do you feel is most represented? Now, I have 4 systems here that are in the top 25. You have the Xbox 360, you have the Windows Phone, you have the Xbox One, and you have Windows games. So please, dear panel, rank those 1 to 4 for me. Let's start with you, Foof. One being the most represented.
I feel like I'm getting set
And if
up.
you want, you can even take a stab of how many out of the top 25 are in each one if you feel.
Well, judging by how you phrased the question,
Oh, yeah?
I will say 360, Windows Phone, Xbox One.
With Xbox One being the most or the least represented?
Xbox One being the least represented, so Xbox 360 being the most.
Okay. Brooke, do you have any thoughts whatsoever on this topic?
My thoughts is probably going to be the highest, or that's the wrong phrasing.
The most represented.
Thank you very much. The most represented, I think, is probably going to be Windows Phone.
Okay. All right. And okay, she is ashamed of her own answer and is forfeited the rest.
She's not feeling well, and her giggly gland is broken, so she's got a case of the giggles right now.
Okay, well, Em, can you fill the silence for us?
All right, I will attempt to. Here's my analysis of your question.
Okay.
All right. I still think it's Xbox One. I think in the time since Xbox One has been released and with the quickness we're seeing things be released, I do think it has the largest number. I mean, remember, an ACA Neo Geo game comes out, or 2 of them come out every Tuesday. So there's a lot out there. And then with Radalaika publishing, that as well counts for that. I think second is going to be Xbox 360 because I think, I don't know how many of them make the list, but back in the day, for us achievement hunters who started before the Xbox One, Elroy, we used to do things like get Japanese consoles and play a lot of visual novels. So I think the 360 is going to be well represented. I think the next one after that's going to be Windows, because you do get those Neo Geo games on Windows as well. There just is not the same prevalence of games on Windows, although that is increasing. And then finally is Windows Phone. Windows Phone was great for some easy gamer score, but the total amount of games available on there is pretty small compared to the rest of the Xbox landscape. Wow.
So, let me tell you something. One of you is exactly correct. Wow. So,
it was Brooke.
Yeah.
It was Brooke.
Yeah, you're exactly right in that the giggles saved you probably some further embarrassment. That was amazing breaking it down. You are absolutely correct. So in 4th place was the Windows Phone. It has 1 single entry, and we'll get to guessing that. Yeah, we'll get to guessing that here in a second. Then 3rd place was Windows with 7. And then 2nd place was the Xbox 360 with 8. And then lastly, the Xbox One with 9. So it's a little closer than a lot of people would probably think. I think a lot of people feel that Xbox One is heads and shoulders the easiest, blah, blah. But no, there's a lot of parity on this list.
I do find that surprising that it's not a bigger number. That's very interesting.
All right. Well, I know y'all are anxious to pick some losers, and by losers I mean awesome games, but indulge me
so
one
nervous
more.
About this.
I think you mentioned that earlier. So indulge me one more time before we get to that, because now I want to look at those publishers.
Oh.
So we know all the usual suspects. So where do they rank in this same top 25? So in the top 25, just tell me which publisher you feel shows up more often. Explain if you like. And I'll give you one of 4 choices. So there's a little bit of a theme here. And it kind of gets log jammed at the top. And so your 4 choices are Radaleka, Hamster. That's your ACA, Brooke.
Thank you.
Sometimes You. Not you, Brooke. That's another publisher.
Oh.
And then we have visual novel genre. So there's as you alluded to earlier, you have all these different publishers of these Japanese novel games, and there's quite a few of them, and they're all like different publishers. So I just grouped them all together just to make it more interesting. So which one shows up the most in the top 25? Radaleka, Hamster, Sometimes You, or visual novel genre? So, Em, you got it exactly right last time. I think that's kind of like make it, take it on the basketball court. So you made it. So what do you got for us?
I got a pair of foofs cheating off my homework, I think. So, let's see. Given your choices, I'm going to guess it's Hamster. Mostly under the logic that Hamster is the only one that actively publishes on multiple platforms.
That's a very sensible bid. What about you, Foofs?
I'm gonna go with Radaleka because I think you like those games a lot.
Oh, I love those games.
From what I'm gathering.
It's not just me. I mean, I think it's the year of the rat, if I'm not mistaken. And
is it really?
I don't know, maybe not. I think it might be the year of the pig. It's the year of something. But it could be the rat. And boy, they're bringing it. What about you, Foof?
I'm going to guess something else, and I'm going to go with the visual novels. Since I know there were a bunch of them on the 360 and a couple on the One with multiple regions and whatnot.
That's a good point, because I was thinking visual novels as strictly those Japanese visual novels, but I'm sure there are some walking sim style games that are in the top 25 that qualify. So,
all right. Well, let me tell you something. None of you picked the least represented, which is Sometimes You. They have 3 in the top 25. And next up is actually the visual novel genre. They have 4 in the top 25. Now, there are a ton more of them listed here, but they usually, I'd say the bulk of them, from just kind of looking further down the list, it's most of them end up in the 30 range. There's a whole lot of them like in the 30 to 40 range. So they have like 1.023 ratios of most of those, kind of in that range. And there's a lot more games that are easier than that we're going to discuss. And then the runner-up is actually Radaleka. I know.
I totally thought I had it.
You were so close. I mean, they have five games in the top 25.
Only
and then
5?
the evil Hamster Empire has 7. So yes, I realize that does not add up to 25, and that's because there's some little curveballs in there. But that is the bulk of it. So I have probably teased this long enough. So we're actually going to just jump right in. So finally, question 2. What are these 10 easiest completions? I know you don't want to talk about numbers 11 through 25. It's a turd sandwich, and I don't blame you. So let's just look at the top 10 and see what we can glean from that. So what are the top 10 easiest completions for a gamer score? Now, one little side note, for the purpose of this discussion, I used whatever console for ACA. So if you guessed, whatever, Fatal Fury 3, I'm not going to tell you to specify a console. You can say, I'll give it to you either way. If it's Xbox One. Yeah, that's just my gift to you.
Well, thank you.
So, yeah. And so... all right, and so before we forgot to get to the 2 that I DQ'd. So I'm sure probably if nobody else would guess one of these. I DQ'd them because frankly they do not have enough people that played them. I've set the bar at 300 people because if it's good enough for Leonidas, it's good enough for me. So
that's actually a pretty good scale to go by.
Yeah, so 300 people. So there's 2 that got DQ'd off the top, and both of them were pretty high on the list. One of them would have been number 4, and one of them would have been number 6. Does anybody want to take or 7? Anybody want to take a guess at what those might have been?
Under 300.
And
yeah, I have no idea.
Here's your hint: is that they're actually the same game, but the variation of it is what, I don't know, I guess kind of DQ'd it. And to be honest, I don't know what the difference is, other than, well, I do, but I don't. So if that makes any sense. Let me just tell you, I don't want to get bogged down in this.
Know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's actually Pac-Man Championship Edition DX. And one version is for the Toshiba, one's for the Toshiba, and then one's for the Vaio, or Vaio,
yeah,
whatever,
they have different laptop variations.
Right, yeah, so
weird.
one's Sony, one's Toshiba, and so I assume that's what it is. They're both Windows 8 console games. So anyway, I DQ'd them both. They have really low ratios, 1.006 for one and 1.008 for the other. And 130 played one and 140 people played the other one. So, and they're both unavailable now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Apparently, you just turn it on and you get the achievements.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if of the, what'd you say, 130 one of them tracked, if all 130 also played the other one and the other 14 just randomly happened to find it.
Yeah, probably. And then it was gone before they could go back and finish it. I don't know, whatever. So, yeah, so those are off the list. So, just count them out and you are all set now. So, Brooke, let's let you have the whole library of just Xbox games at your disposal here. You get first picks. You're, just Playground pick them. You get the first pick.
Oh,
who you got?
Goodness gracious. Okay. I'm
just waiting for like a random rattle like a game that she heard us talk about.
Yeah, I honestly, this is gonna sound horrible, but I can't think of any right now, like at all.
Ooh.
So
I'm pretty sure that one of them you've played.
Oh, interesting.
Are you sure?
I think. I am not sure, because she is a very mysterious woman that you can never find her tag or anything like that. But I think I heard Fizz mention that you played this.
Oh, go ahead.
I think. No, go ahead. I'm waiting on you.
I'm just going to say Jack and Jill.
You know what? That was the one that I thought you would say, because I thought that was the one that I heard you played.
Oh, no. I don't even know what that game is.
I think...
that brings me to one of the things I thought you could bring to the table, is that you could give us a brief description of what the game is.
Oh.
So, in your view, what is Jack and Jill DX all about?
It's about a guy named Jack and a girl named Jill, and
oh man, you're on fire.
They tumbled down the hill.
Oh wow!
And then they had to fight some monsters.
Man, that is exactly how that game plays out. So
yes,
you're not gonna believe this, Brooke. I wouldn't lie to you here.
Okay. You
just picked the #1 worst game. Best gem out there on the Xbox
No, I
system.
Did not.
You've won 100,000.
Jack
you
and Jill?
Nailed it.
Wow.
First freaking try. You are such a natural at this.
Wow.
I do not even know what to say. I am in awe. So, let me tell you about Jack and Jill DX. Other than the spot-on description about what it is, it's the one that looks like an Xbox, or I'm sorry, a Game Boy game, in which it literally looks like something you would have played 20 years ago, and maybe 30 probably. Anyway,
Kenny's gonna pull it up for me so I can see.
Yeah, it's gloriously awful. And so, the total score you get for this game is 1,005 points, or TA. So, for a 1,000 gamer score, you get 1,005 TA. Now, this game itself has 6,541 tracked gamers, and of those, 6,375 people have completed it.
I did it.
And four want to boost it. Yes. And so, I was looking at the achievement list, and interestingly enough, there is 11 achievements on it, and of those 11 achievements, 10 of them have a whopping ratio of 1.00, and the 11th one has a ratio of 1.01. So I guess that not everyone buys something in the store. That's the hardest achievement on there. So Jack and Jill DX is absolutely your number one pick. And Brooke, you nailed it.
Sweet. It looks like a Mario game. Is it just me?
Okay, I can see where you're going with that.
Like a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Mario
platforming.
3, where Mario's running around, choosing stages, blowing whistles, and skipping stages.
If there was color, I could see how you would think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how Jack fell down the hill and all that stuff? I mean,
Yeah, and
right
all the
on.
monsters, I totally see it.
Yep, you know it.
I did know
All
it.
right. Well, Foof, I don't think that you can top that, but I'm impressed with Brooke's knowledge of terrible games. So, what do you got for us?
I'm gonna go with. Well, I'm gonna go with one of my favorite shows ever, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Well, Avatar: The Burning Earth is what the game is called.
Right, and as you know, I am your go-to for all things anime. And
It's just this is going to trigger me. Just hearing you speak about this.
So I know all about this game. So Brooke, you don't have to tell us all about this game. This one is all about this one guy, and he like shoots a bunch of stuff out of his hands. He's like bending air, and he's like, "Woo! Look at me, I'm an airbender!" And look at everyone die. And then he runs with his arms behind him, and then he gets real angry and destroys the entire environment. It's really a cool game. So
Yeah, that's what I get out of it.
Running with the arms behind you is Naruto. That's not Avatar.
So, Avatar is the correct answer.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
Woo!
Yes, that ranks number 5 on this list. So,
Wow.
Yeah, that one is actually, of all the ones in the top 10, this one by far has the most people who have tracked gamers for it. So
That's not a surprise since it's
it's kind of the running joke for the longest time about the easiest gamer score, and then of course Red Lake came in and is like, please. But Avatar, it has 58,682 tracked gamers, which is easily 50,000 more than just about everyone. Yeah, it's easily 50,000 more than everyone else on the list. So it is by far the most popular game, if you want to call it that, and it is worth a whopping 1,007 gamer score, or sorry, TA, as opposed to the 1,005.
I actually would have thought that would have been the number one answer.
It was number one for a very long time.
Yep, it is number 5. So it's available still for download for $20 whole. It is also the most expensive game on the list.
What?
At $20. Although if you
pay
$20 for it, you're doing something wrong with your life. So don't pay that for that. It goes on sale for like $2 all the time, and I don't know. You can get it
because it was just on sale last week for $3.
Oh.
Now this one, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, you've been waiting so patiently. I'm sure you've come up with this, and you've actually played probably most of these games. So what do you got for us?
I actually,
your first
so
choice?
far, I'm only 1 for 2. I've played Jack and Jill, but not Avatar. Yeah, that was one of those games for the longest time, if you were into the achievement hunting thing, where it was sort of like a point of pride to not have that game, or like some of the visual novels, or My Horse and Me. Like there are just certain sort of benchmark, like you're clearly in this just for the gamerscore game, so you didn't want them on your tag. But now they're so available everywhere, no one cares. And as a point about Avatar 2, it's almost like monthly, I feel, or every month it's on sale for $3. So if you are interested in it, just wait. It's eventually going to drop down. So this is a great topic. And I do have a guess. I'm going to go a little out of left field here, because I know, because I'm taking my notes, that you said one Windows Phone game made the top 25. So I don't know if it made the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm gonna throw it out there, because I have a story about it if it is in fact one of the games that is in the top 10. The easiest Windows Phone game, if I recall correctly, is Collapse.
And you are absolutely correct.
Stop at $750. There's not enough. Alpha, you are the champ today with $12,543. We'll come back and talk to you right after this.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
Any guesses what number?
Well, definitely wasn't tracked by 50-some thousand people. I feel like it's
No, it
957,000 people with their phone.
exactly.
it actually comes in at number 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was number 8 until just recently when we were supposed to first record, but I have since had to modify my notes because this one game made a run recently.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's bumped down to number 9.
So I have a brief story about Collapse.
Love
This
it.
is why the game is always so memorable to me. So, Brooke, you're probably not familiar, but I think most of the people listening are with the G-Task tourney thingy, the
Ugh.
Great True Achievement Score Challenge. It is a year-long challenge where people just try to get as much gamer score as they can, and there are weekly eliminations. So in 2013, in August, I was on a team with Elle, and I don't remember if this is... I think this year I was with 2 other folks, but it was the day of cutoff, and we're close to the line... And we are in Manhattan watching Ring of Honor wrestling. Now, I know some folks on our podcast do listen to wrestling. So we're at a show with guys that are like current WWE talent, like Tommaso Ciampa and Kevin Owens and whatnot. Like a really good show. And we're panicking about where we're going to fall in G-Task. So I'm there at the show playing Collapse on my phone to get the 100 points necessary for us to survive that week. So I'm sure I missed something amazing, but I got to experience Collapse in that time. So it always kind of holds a special place for me.
Very cool.
Yep, and that's probably going to be my only valid guess, because that's number 9. That's actually... further down on the list than I thought it would be, because I'm pretty sure what you said, it's the only one in the top 25, right? So,
Oh, yeah, well, we're only looking at the top 10 right now,
but
but yes, it is. It is it.
That's it.
That is it.
Okay.
That's the Windows Phone representation in the 25
right.
easiest games. So.
I wouldn't have been able to get any of the Windows Phone games.
well, now you don't have to.
All right. Well, Brooke has come back to you. Hopefully, no giggle fits or anything. You got number 1, and I mean, you could just sit back and just say scoreboard if you like.
I have no idea. Okay, so this is gonna be a horrible guess, but I'm gonna guess Angry Birds out there. Anyone play Angry Birds? No.
I think this is
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it got lost with Clash of Clans, but no, those games.
Man.
I think that one actually is. Aren't the Angry Bird games like kind of challenging as far as or lengthy, where to get all the gamer score that you have to. Yeah, I don't think that any of those would.
I think they got a stupid grind to them.
Yeah, there are many Angry Birds games out across different platforms. So you have them on Windows 8, you had them on Windows Phone, you had one on the Xbox 360. So they're everywhere. But you frequently need to have 3 stars in multiple levels, and frequently you also need to run the game for 24 hours, which, when you play Angry Birds, you play it for 5 minutes and then you put it aside. So those time achievements usually are pretty high. I want to say the lowest ratioed one is probably like a 1.3-ish or something like that. So it probably wouldn't be anywhere near the top 100.
I have this list right here.
Okay.
I actually thought there was.
I'm allowed to cheat, so y'all can't cheat.
Is it
out
Angry
there.
Birds Star Wars for the Win 8?
Let me sort. The easiest one is Angry Birds Star Wars Win 8, and that has a 1.554 ratio.
Oof.
Yeah, and it takes 25 to 30 hours, as opposed to Angry Birds Trilogy, which is 1,500 gamer score, but it has a 3.744 ratio. Whoa! And it takes 200 plus hours.
Yeah, that one's quite difficult. Well, I think Angry Birds Star Wars is the only one that doesn't require you to 3-star a whole bunch of things. And it requires 25 to 30 hours because it has a play for 24 hours achievement. And there's just no way to get around. Like, you can obviously idle your computer for 24 hours, but there's really no way to get around that stuff. And a lot of them have achievements with launch so many birds, and that's just going to take a while.
Yeah.
That's where list design comes into things. Because if Ratalaika published the Angry Birds games, it would be launch your first red bird, launch your first yellow bird, lose a level, get 3 stars once,
no idea.
and that'll be it. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Learning something new.
There you go. Hey, you still got number 1, Brooke, and that's what matters.
That's true.
Yep,
What about you, Foof? What you got for us?
I'm gonna guess a game that I actually enjoyed playing, even though in the 10 minutes I played it. Super Destronaut DX.
Oh, that is another Ratalaika gem. Indeed, that one is in fact on the list. Yes, you got number 4.
Ooh.
So you
The
got
suspense
coach
was killing
number.
me.
Yeah, I think that was a dramatic pause for the audience there. Now, the Super Destronaut, that one has 6,481 tracked gamers.
Wow.
It's your 0 to 1 hour completion. It is also worth 1,006 TA, but I guess its 1,006 TA is lower than the 1,006 TA for number 2 and 3 because they both list at 1.006 as well. So I assume that somewhere that carries out further, and it's just not random. So if it is just random, then it could be tied for second. So I do not know how they do their little calculations.
They're decimals beyond what we see. So
I would imagine so. That's kind of what I suppose. But if it wasn't, then hey, it's tied for second. But most likely it is, in fact, fourth. So yeah, excellent game. I actually enjoyed that one. I was sad when it was over. Like a lot of those Ratalaika games like that, where you're starting to get into it, and then you got the 1,000, points, and you're like, oh, well, that's over. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Gallic is my favorite arcade game, and this is basically it. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, if you haven't played it, it's $5. You're gonna be 1,000 gamer score in just a couple. I don't know, probably about 20, 25 minutes, right? Or 10 minutes, 15. I don't know how long it took. I
15, 20 probably. Yeah.
It looks fun. I kind of want to try it.
Yeah, you should. It's a good introduction to sell your soul to the Cheevo. You'd be like, you get your fix, and then you'd be like, ooh, I think I want to do that again, and then you realize Ratalaika has a whole library available to you. So
good games too.
All right, yeah. What do you got for us? You poached the Windows Phone one, so what do you have for us now?
I am gonna go ahead and guess. I had this game on my random to-do list, so another contest-related entry this month, and it was the lowest ratioed one on that list, and it was Storm Boy.
Oh boy, he's so useless. So Storm Boy. Yes, in case you're wondering more about Storm Boy, there's a wonderful game swap where we take apart old Storm Boy and put him in other games, and he doesn't fare so well
out there. That's great.
If you can understand a word I'm saying, I kind of trying to talk fast because I knew I had a lot of material to get to. So Storm Boy is useless in every sense of the way. However, he is useful in this list's purpose, and it lands at number 2.
All right.
Oh, wow. Man. So you nailed number 2 there. That is it. Now, there's one thing of note that I wanted to bring up about Storm Boy. It's got 4,246 tracked gamers. And of those, 4,156 have completed the game. Oh. And this game, actually, if you pull up by completion percentage, so which game has the easiest completion percentage, it is, in fact, Storm Boy. It has a 97.88% completion rate. And is the highest one listed on TA. And, in fact, all of the achievements in this game, all 11 of them, are worth a whopping 1.00 TA. So it is. I don't know what the math there is, why it equals out. So obviously there are some decimal points we're not seeing, in that it's 1,006 TA total, even though all of the achievements list at 1.00, which is odd since it appears behind Jack and Jill, which had one that was 1.01, and then the rest were 1.00. So obviously there's some hidden decimals that we're not privy to, and but that is the interesting points about Storm Boy, which is available, Brooke, $6.
Yeah.
Kenny, have you not played this either?
I was just going to say, I haven't tried that one either.
He's so useless. That would be a good game for both of you to sit through. It's only about a half hour, and it's based on a children's story. And what you really learn by the end is that Australian children are tough. So,
well, everything in their country is trying to kill them. So
I know, but it's actually a really nice reimagining of the tale. They do a good job with it. It's not twitchy at all. There are a couple of like little quote unquote mini games, and that's where many achievements are tied up. But it's obviously nothing difficult. But it's the kind of game you can go through once and just see the story, because being as it's based on a story, it actually has a pretty solid one, and then just go back and scoop up whatever achievements later.
That's actually kind of interesting you say that, because typically when it comes to these faster, bad games, and you're playing them just for the points, you usually don't hear good story in it either. It's usually just a throwaway story, something you get in, get your points, get out.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Well, easy isn't intrinsically bad. It's just usually more than anything. I have a question for you, actually, Elroy. I don't know if you looked up this particular data set when you were researching for this. Are any of the games in the top 10 longer than a 0 to 1 hour completion?
It is. No. It is pretty much you have to get down to number 15 before you have a 1 to 2 hour completion.
Okay.
Jeez. And number 15 being the obviously it's Muv-Love Alternative Total Eclipse. So that is your Japanese
I was going to guess
that.
Of course.
I have no idea what that is.
I mean,
yeah.
obviously.
Oh, Muv-Love, yeah.
I'm
that one.
Showing my hand here a little bit. I'm going to guess a Japanese visual novel on my next go. And I'll explain a little bit about them so it makes a little more sense for those of you who've never experienced such things. But I'll wait my turn.
Okay. So, let's see. Who just went? Oh, yeah. It's Stormboy. So, I think it's back to Brooke now.
Yes,
I don't know. And so, just to make this easier, because at this point, you've done all the usual suspects. So, left on the top 10 is one ACA game, one Ratalaika game, one random 360 game, and one Japanese visual novel. So there you go. So there's 4 left in the top 10. That is the parameters I am giving you as a hint.
Okay.
Wait, there's 4 left in the top 10?
Yes. Let's see. We got...
we have Jack and Jill, Avatar, Collapse, Super Destronaut DX, and Stormboy. I count 5.
I'm so sorry. We have 2 ACA in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
My bad. It snuck by me there.
That's okay.
Okay.
This is why we take notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Without click pins.
Yes, definitely without anything to click.
I have 2 guesses, so I'll keep one to myself.
We'll allow it.
Oh,
we'll allow it.
You'll allow it. Okay.
Oh, all right,
yes.
So I'm pretty sure, Elroy, I've heard you talk about this game. And it sounded interesting. I'm pretty sure you talked about it. But Mr. Pumpkin's Adventure.
Ooh, Mr. Pumpkin's Adventure is incorrect. It is a heck of a game.
That's a good guess, though.
Yeah, I believe if I was guessing about why it's not, it's probably the same reason I haven't completed it. It's because I missed some stupid thing I didn't click on. There's like collectibles throughout that game.
I think that's what you were talking about when I heard you.
Yeah, I don't view that game in a very positive light. It has a 1.037 completion rate, and if I click on there, let me see which one I'm missing here. I am missing
really weird.
Collector. Yeah, I did not collect all the diary pieces. So if you look at the achievements, there's only about 3 or 4 that really above a 1.02, and one of them is all the diary pieces. I need to go back and finish that. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I need to get that one off my tag. So I got to go back and sit through another hour of it, and maybe it'll pop while I'm in the progress of doing it. I don't know what I missed, but what was your second guess, Bro?
I was just going to say Sonic. I mean, that's a classic
Sonic,
game.
now, you are actually very close.
Oh.
Really?
I am going to give you Sonic the Fighters.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
I know that is the one you meant.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
totally
that's
what
the
I meant.
one.
Oh.
100%.
Yeah, and that is a nice little 400-point game, and I'll actually play that 400-point game because it only takes 0 to 1 hours, and it's like all these Sonic characters, and all you have to do is just spam one button, and it's over. And so that one actually lands in at number 18, but an excellent guess, Brooke.
Okay.
Oh, so it's not top 10. Okay.
I forgot about that.
Yep. So,
that was all my guesses.
Hey, number 1, am I right?
Yeah.
What do you got for us, Foof? So we got 2 ACAs left, 1 rat, 1 random 360, and 1 visual novel. And you know that if you don't guess the visual novel, that M's got your back next guess.
I don't even got a guess on the visual novels. So that's all Michelle.
All right.
I want to go for an ACA.
Okay.
And what's the one I did? I'm going to go with Real About Fatal Fury, I think it is. Real About Fatal Fury.
Oh, my man, Foof. I can't tell you how proud of I am of you right now. That was amazing. I don't know, those all run together, and like even when they're listed inside TA, they're like in all caps. It's like they're yelling at you, and all the titles sound the same. And the fact that you pull that out, because there's like Fatal Fury, World this, and Fatal Fury that, but you actually picked the one that made a run lately, and made it all the way up to... Let's see, what did I say? Oh, gosh, where did it go? My notes are terrible. It's in the top 10, though. I think it's number 9 or 8.
That's the one that pushed down Collapse from...
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It is number 8 now. So, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, the Windows 10 version, actually, is number 8. And I'm not sure. Do you remember what the cheese method on that one was? Was that the one with the Mudman, where you just punch the Mudman to death over and over?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, that guy, he doesn't learn, man.
Yeah,
you just
that's
keep
one
punching him in the face.
That I actually completed, I believe.
Yeah, you just walk in and punch that guy right in the mouth over and over. Yep, I know which one you're talking about. All right, so that's number 8. So that's 1 ACA off the list. Excellent job, Foof.
Very nicely done.
All right. Man. What do you got for us, Em? I assume you're going on the overseas. You're going overseas with this guess?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I have 2 visual novels that I think it might be, but you said there's 1.
All right.
And while I'm looking at my 2 choices and likely picking the wrong one, I have to give a shout out to Stan, who loaned me and Elle his Japanese console for like 6 years. So,
nice.
But he did eventually get it back, so I don't want to hear that anymore. But the way that these Japanese visual novels work, because I know... Brooke, I know for sure you're not familiar with this, and I don't know how familiar you are, Kenny. And Elra, I don't know how familiar you are either, because this was really in a time before you started achievement hunting.
Well, I'm sure you remember where I was sending you screenshots of it, saying what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
Yes, I've actually gotten a Japanese, 360, and so... I have a bunch of games. I just haven't got around to really playing a lot of them. I switched out the HDMI cable with something else, and I just got too lazy to switch it back. And so I have a bunch of games I got to play on it. But yeah, they're very easy with guides. I just match the letters.
Right.
Yeah.
So back in the days before we had weekly Hamster and Ratalaika releases, the most impactful way to get a whole bunch of easy gamer score was to own a Japanese console and a bunch of visual novels. Visual novels are just that. They're just sort of choose-your-own-adventure type stories. The unfortunate thing is they're entirely in Japanese. So there's one person in particular, Sangrias, I believe, who recently joined the Discord, and I hope this credit is correct, who created all sorts of really amazing guides that were like, you're going to see stuff that looks like this, pick this one. You're going to see stuff like that looks like that, pick that one. Mm-hmm. And most of these Japanese visual novels, there's no gameplay. You're just selecting options, and they frequently have multiple endings, so the achievements are tied to getting to the multiple endings. They almost always have quick skip dialogue options. The dialogue just rolls through really fast, awesome, so that you can get to the end of the game. There are a couple that are a little more tricky. There are a couple. There's one that has a date-specific achievement, so you have to be mindful of that. There are a couple of other Japanese console games that are not easy gamer score games and not visual novels, but that's primarily why people got their Japanese consoles. So with all that out of the way, I'm going to guess No Fate, Only the Power of Will.
Oh, no fate, only the power of will. That ranks in at... That is in number 33.
Oh. All right.
What was your second guess?
My second guess? Oh, I get to go twice?
Well, you said you had two.
Yeah.
You were going to pick the wrong one. And I didn't want you to have the same regret that I had last week when I picked Dead Rising. And then I believe it was Foof that sniped my second guess.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, number 2.
My other guess was Code 18.
And that would have been absolutely correct.
Oh, okay. I'm not worried about anyone sniping that one, though.
No, not at all.
Code 18, I couldn't tell you what it's about. I just know that every time I play one of these games, I have that awkward moment where I'm like watching it fly by on the screen and I'm thinking, I don't know that I should be playing this, because it's like all these like scantily clad like Japanese teenagers, like I don't know, it feels kind of weird as a guy in his 40s playing these games, and and I think, would I lose my job at school if someone walked in on me playing this game right now? Some of them are kind of out there in that regards, but
I was about to being in and take a look at this, but after you say that, maybe I won't do that.
I mean, it's just a little out there, a little, and you're like, of course, every one of the female characters is scantily clad, and all the guys are just kind of cool wearing their jackets and all. I don't know. It's just.
But there's also usually some kind of like brutal violence that happens too.
Oh yeah,
like the screen cuts away and everything's like
everything turns red, and yeah. And then they wake up and like, what just happened?
I'm horrified.
Oh my gosh, was that a dream? Yeah, I don't know. They're just weird, and I like to try to fill out my own story when I play it, and I'm like, I just kind of make up the story in my head of what's going on, and because I don't have a clue, there's no English anywhere to be found, and I'm just matching symbols,
like 4 templates. So there's character normal view, character smiling view, character crying view, character angry view, and that's all you're seeing is just these different overlays. And screen will go dark, cool guy with jacket will show up, everyone will be dead. There
you go.
They're all organized that way.
I want to hear Elroy's story with one of these.
I would love to watch Elroy play one of these and narrate.
Yes.
Stream it.
Yes, please.
Oh man, I had a good one there for a while. I would entertain Kelly with it. Like, there's only way I could feel normal about having these characters on my screen with Kelly sitting next to me, like, and I just making fun of it the whole time. It was pretty fun, but anyway, yeah. So we're about 30 minutes in, and I got a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to get to. So does anybody have any other just burning guesses they wanted to guess before I move on to the next questions and just tell you what the missing 3 entries are? Does anybody have a guess what the other ACA Neo Geo game on the list is? It's number 3.
Oh,
number 3.
Number 3.
I don't have any idea. I'm not even going to hazard a guess. I've mostly played the ACA games with higher ratios. I finished one this week that had like a 1.9 ratio, so I'm not the right audience.
I'm going to guess the only other one I can think of for that is World Heroes.
My God, Foof. You are a freaking genius over there. What is going on over there?
Wow.
That is amazing. Yes,
he did not cheat.
That is, I am.
I think there are only 2 I completed.
I am super impressed. If I
Year...
had my video on right now, you would have saw my jaw drop. I can't believe you just pulled out both ACA games. That is amazing, man.
That year you spent game sharing had this kind of impact on
right?
So it was meaningful. It was meaningful.
What have you done to me, Elroy?
This is amazing. I thought you just weren't paying attention, and all this time you were a sponge. That is awesome. All right, so World Heroes. That's one of the early ones, I think that came out, and it. If you read the comments on it, it's kind of interesting. It was the only thing I really wanted to mention about it. It is another one with a 1.006 ratio and another hour completion, and it's $8 like all ACAs, and it has only 722 track gamers. That's on Windows 10. That's the version that it counts on. But anyway, on the comment section, if you read it, it's really funny because everyone has their goal, their fix for it to get the hardest achievement on it that has a 1.03 ratio on it, score 500,000 points. And so someone's like, oh, it's easy, just do this. And then someone's like, oh yeah, well this is even easier. And then someone else is like, oh, ignore all of them. There's the easiest way. And so depending on who's solution you trust, it's either easy, easier, or easiest. I'm not sure. Yeah. But you basically just spam a different button, and so it's like easier to spam that button than this button. And I don't know, it's kind of a funny read. But anyway, that is absolutely correct. So that's number 3. Does anybody have a guess for what Ratalaika game was not mentioned? It's number 6 one on the list. Does anybody know
I am drawing blanks on Ratalaika games right now.
What was that new one that just came out?
Well, you got One More Dungeon, I and Me, Warlock's Tower, League of Evil back in 1995, Devious Dungeon 2, My Big Sister, Inksplosion, Devious Dungeon, Shadow of the Loot Box, Twin Robots Ultimate Edition, Zerotopian Invasion, Tetris Escape, Bird Game, Heroes Trials, Daggerhood, Iron Snout, Access Denied, Metagal, Super Weekend Mode, Midnight Deluxe, Full Blast, Super Destronaut, Jack and Jill, and then Distraint, which hasn't come out.
Oh, you totally gave away the answer. You totally gave it away, Elroy, because you just read them in reverse order. It's Full Blast. I'm not even going to...
It is Full Blast. I was just going to see if anybody noticed there. So, I'm so glad you said that. Because
where's Jack and Jill? Where's... Oh.
Yeah, I was going to make fun of y'all.
Full Blast. That was another one I really liked, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Full Blast was a good one.
I was going to guess Super Weekend Mode.
Yeah,
that's the one that came out recently, and it was really
that
quick.
One's in 21. A lot of people probably would have picked that. That one was the one that was famous for its 5-minute completion story on TA. And it was super easy. I don't know what to tell you, but that was number 21. So it didn't even crack the top 25. It's just ahead of famous game Energy Cycle at number 23, in case you were wondering.
Wow.
Yeah, and then North, that finished at number 20. And then some other ones that people know. It's a full load of them there. But how about the other random one we got there with Backyard Sports, Backyard Football 10. Yeah, that was everyone's next guess, right?
I was about to ask if it was a sports game, no lie.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry I robbed you of that moment. So, we might have been able to piece it together. But yeah, that is number 7. That's your random 360 game that appeared on the list. So in case you did not take notes like M did, number 1 was Jack and Jill. Number 2, Storm Boy. Number 3, ACA Neo Geo World Heroes. Excellent job, Foof, by the way. Number 4 was Super Destronaut. Number 5, Avatar. Number 6, Full Blast. Number 7, Backyard Sports, Backyard Football. 10. Number 8 was Neo Geo Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. Again, I'm impressed. And number 9 was Collapse. And number 10 was Code 18. So that is your 10 easiest games by completion, TA. And there you have that. So with that out of the way, was there any impressions from that you wanted to mention there? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at how few of the early easy gamer score games are not represented. I guess I get it, because there were games like all the 2K6 sports games, so it's actually...
That was my next guess.
A good guess that you mentioned sports games, Brooke, because these were games with 5 achievements. They were each worth 200 gamer score, and they were easy to manipulate, and they were frequently purchased for a very long period of time for the easy gamer score. Now, granted, the 2K6 game, and I guess this is what counts for the list to some degree, those 2K6 games were also bought by casual gamers who just played and maybe didn't get one of those achievements or whatever may have happened. Sense. Where all of these Ratalaika games, the ACA games, really everything on this list is purchased specifically for the fact that it has an easy list. I am most surprised to see Backyard Sports on here, because it falls sort of in that first category of games people might have bought casually in 2010. But it makes sense what's on here, but it's still surprising to me.
Well, you mentioned the 2K6 sports games. I looked up the 4 of those. And so NBA 2K6 is a 1.029, so that puts it around number 50, I think, because I got the top 40 in front of me, and it ends up at 1.024, so it's probably in the 50s, I would imagine. But that one should probably be up there. College Hoops 2K6, there was something going on with that one, I don't quite remember, but I do remember what was going on with Major League Baseball 2K6, and that was the leaping at the wall one. That was a pain where you had to have one team basically hit a home run and then leap and rob them from it being a home run. That one took a while, and in fact, that game actually has a 1 to 2 hour completion time because probably most people took forever with that achievement because you had to pick Torrey Hunter, if I'm not mistaken, and then you had to kind of just wait for the perfect opportunity, and then you had to time it just right. It was kind of a pain, really. So that's probably why that one's lower. That one has a 1.098 ratio. And then NHL 2K6, there was something with a power play goal to score on a power play goal, and that was kind of a pain to really set up. So that one's got actually the lowest or the highest ratio of them all, which is 1.150. So,
well, there was a time where 1.150 was all right, go pick it up. That's a we kind of forget that relatively. TMNT, which I think is a 6 to 8 hour completion, used to be one of those games where it's go out and get it. It's an easy gamer score, and now you can get 6,000 gamer score in that time. So that landscape has changed a lot in the last 3 or 4 years, or even less.
TMNT 1.061. So
I actually know what that game is. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, I just recently finished that game, man. That game actually took a long time, and the cameras were terrible, and I kept falling to my death, and that was a struggle at some point. But one thing I wanted to point out was that in the top 25, 19 of the entries, as we talked about earlier, were from one of those 4 genres or publishers. So that means that there was 6 left that were not one of those. So is anybody... Well, we already mentioned one, which was Sega with the Sonic the Fighters game. But Sega actually has another one on the list. Does anybody have a guess on which one that is?
I do, but I'll wait to let the foofs, if they would like to chime in.
It recently went on sale, if I'm not mistaken.
You literally said that, and the first thing that popped into my head was the Sega theme song, so I have no idea. Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking in my head.
Oh, man. If that one gets in your head, don't ever pull up a video of the Daytona game.
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
I thought you were going to say the purple shaking game, and I was going to say, well, too late.
Daytona. Let's go away. Let's go. Oh man. Don't
my
do
goodness.
It.
Now he's going to be singing it all weekend.
Yeah. Oh man. And the reason that one burned into my brain is it was the one arcade game at this college, in the game room of this college I attended. And so every time you walk through there, which it was a shortcut, and it was just blaring that song. And so every time you walk through there, you're hearing this Daytona. And it just, it haunts me to this day. But yes.
Memories.
Foof, did you have a guess on this?
Nah, I can't think of another Sega game that would be an easy completion or a quick one.
No. What was it, Em?
The only other one I can think of offhand, right around when Sonic the Fighters... Was it Sonic the Fighters that... Yeah,
Sonic the Fighters.
When that came out, also Virtua Fighter 2 came out. It was also a 400 gamer score, 0 to 1 hour completion, if I recall correctly.
Well, I think you're talking about the same game, but it's called something else. It's not Virtua Fighter, but Virtua Striker.
Oh, wait.
I don't know if that's the same game or not.
No. Virtua Striker isn't that a Japanese game?
I believe it is... Well, maybe I'm a mistake here.
I thought it was a soccer game.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
How did you forget the soccer game?
Up. I've never played that one. I want to play it. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you have a Japanese console
You're right. I thought that was the 3D fighter. I was thinking it was Virtua Fighter 2. So that's on me. So no, it's that little crappy soccer game that I don't know what it is. I just said I can't get it.
I never would have guessed that one. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. So that's one of the other oddball ones on the list. We mentioned number 9, which was Collapse. That's Microsoft. We mentioned number 7, which was Backyard Sports, Backyard Football. That was Atari. And then we mentioned the other two as well, which was Blowfish, which is Storm Boy. Useless. And then number 5 was Avatar, which is THQ. So here you go. I just thought this would be kind of a fun little interesting question. So each one of those studios got one on the list, but that was their easiest game, Xbox game. So the question is, what was their number 2 easiest game for each one? And I know that one of you mentioned one of these games earlier.
So could you repeat the publishers that we're supposed to be guessing?
Atari. So Atari, Microsoft, Sega, Blowfish, and THQ. What is each one of their second easiest games? Well, for Sega, it would be their third easiest. Well, let's just throw Sega out. So let's just do Atari, Microsoft, Blowfish, and THQ. So which one of those 4 can you name the second easiest? It's kind of fun, I think, because 2 of them I really like.
Atari, Blowfish,
Microsoft, and THQ.
See, the Microsoft is throwing me off. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure on any of them. Is THQ?
The THQ didn't release a whole bunch of easy games. I don't think that's something there.
There's one, and it was a movie game.
I was trying to go through the movie games and trying to think of what would be the most completed.
I have no idea.
It's an ultimate showdown of sorts.
Avengers.
Oh, that is absolutely not it.
So if you haven't figured it out, Brooke has no idea.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I have no idea.
It was kind of a superhero. I don't know, but it was Megamind Ultimate Showdown.
Oh my goodness.
That was a 1.047. Not on the list, but that would be their second easiest game. Blowfish is actually Jack Quest, Tale of the Sword. That is a game I have yet to play. Well, to get achievements in. I played it, but I couldn't get the platform. That's another story. But it has a 1.23. Atari. Anybody have any lasting guesses? You mentioned it earlier.
I mentioned it earlier.
It's yeah.
Or
nerd.
Oh, My Horse and Me?
My Horse and Me.
That was published by Atari?
Actually, it was... I'm sorry, hang on.
That?
Oh, everyone hold on. Everyone hold on. Calm down.
Hold your horses.
It's actually... Nice. It's actually My Horse and Me 2. I'm so sorry. Important distinctions. So... go ahead and proceed. Yes, it is a game about a horse and a person. Yes. I don't know anything about this game.
Thank you so much for the description.
I don't know if it's still the case, but there at least used to be. I'm going to look real quick. On TA, there used to be an absolutely fantastic review of this game. It was one of those Amazon reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was just
like the watch that stops time and all that.
Totally tongue-in-cheek.
Gotcha.
This basically looks like Nintendogs, but with horses. I have not had the joy of playing it yet.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still there, but it was really funny. Or it may not have even been on TA, but there used to be this really fantastic review of it, and that's as much as I know. Because this game was something you had to have a mailing partner for. It's not easy to find copies. So you have to find someone who has a copy, and it has some value to it because it's never been re-released in any other capacity. It's not available digitally. Now, that value has gone down because Gamerscore is so devalued now with all the easy games out there that it's not a big deal to pick up this one super easy game. But it used to be really hard to come by. I mean, it still is, but it used to be really expensive too.
Yeah, I was looking to get it, and I was like, I don't think I want it that bad. So, yeah, it's still expensive. I can verify that. So, but let me just quickly wrap this up here. I got, because we're an hour in, and I don't want to keep y'all too long. So, for Microsoft, Brooke, this was your opportunity to shine. It is actually Disney, The Little Mermaid Undersea Treasures or something like Windows 8. Yeah.
Wait,
I
that's
would
gotta
not
have
have gotten that.
That's gotta have a super asterisk next to it, though. Like a really, really large asterisk next to it.
What do you got against old Ariel? What's
because
going on here?
The game was released for Windows 8, and it's like a search and find type game, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
but it released with only 3 achievements and never released the rest of them. So the game is permanently locked at those 3 achievements, which were like playing the demo of the game. So, I mean, there are tons of games out there where if only the first couple achievements were available, they would be super easy. Like that was
it has a 0% completion.
It could never be completed. Those other achievements were never
and so
enabled.
You basically get a hint and then score 85,000 on some stage and then tapped on a starfish and you got all 3 achievements.
What?
There's an unreleased add-on and it has the rest of the achievements. But
when Microsoft,
when you have 1,000 people have it tracked. Well, actually, they count as a completion. They say that
because the rest is DLC, so it depends on how you look at completions on TA. But
sounds legit to me.
When they were first exploring, or I guess not first exploring, but early on in exploring Windows as a platform for Xbox Live, there was Disney Fairies. And Disney Fairies is a search and find game, and it's got multiple pieces of DLC, and it's since been removed from the store, but it was completable, and it's a good rest your mind, do something easy kind of game. Mm-hmm. And Little Mermaid was like poised to be the next one. So all these early adopters of Disney Fairies were like, all right, we're going to get this, and then when the DLC comes, this is just going to be easy gamer score. And they're just like, no, we did some internal search about this, and no one's going to buy it, so we're not going to finish it. What? And you're not going to remove the achievements? Nope, they're forever locked on your profile. It's too bad. That's what you get for being an early adopter.
Well, all right. So,
real quick,
did you get your asterisk resolved there? That's I didn't realize you had so much to say about poor little Ariel.
No, just as a point, like again, think of all the games we played, and I know Kenny, you wanted to make a point, so I apologize for speaking over you for just one more second.
You're good.
But really think about all the stuff we play. If you just played the demo and got achievements in the demo, and then everything else was locked out to you for the rest of the game, it would sit at a low ratio because those first couple achievements usually draw you in real quick. But then you'd be stuck. So it's a little bit weird that it's included because of that. Because it still may have been an easy game all the way through, but it never released more than the first half hour of its content.
That's crazy.
All right, Foof, what you got?
You were just talking about how much My Horse and Me 2 was. So I did a quick eBay search. That game is $90 dollars.
Okay, it's still worth a lot.
But it's a classic.
Is that a buy it now price or an actual completed sale?
It's probably the international sale.
Yes. It's international sale.
Yeah. That's what I ran into. Is it was always international. I was like, ooh, I'm not paying that.
Yeah, $90. Buy it now.
Yeah, I want to say at the height of the game, like $85, $90 was about what you can expect. And you're not going to find it at a secondhand retailer. You're not going to be able to walk into a GameStop. You're not going to be able to go to a garage sale and find someone who randomly doesn't know the value of this game. It just was never available in that way. And it still is one of the noted easy completion. So it went from being sort of like a scarlet letter on your account to have it on there to now it's like, oh, you're showing what a dedicated hunter you are that you went out and got that particular game. So I guess it retained its value that way.
Yeah, unless someone decides to let me borrow that, that'll never be on my tag. I am not spending $90 on that.
I would love to play it. Man, I wish I could play it. I'm sad that I'll never will as well. But yeah, so here's a couple of party notes as we wrap this up. I had something about which is the answer to the age-old question, which gamer score is the easiest, ACA or Ratalaika? So I looked at all the games, and so each one of them, they're actually eerily similar, although there's much more volume involved with ACA. So Ratalaika has 24 games, and only 2 of those have a ratio of 1.5 or greater, and only one game has a 2.0. That was One More Dungeon. For ACA, it's just shy of 200 games, and 14 of them have a ratio of 1.5 or greater, and only one game of them has a 2.0 ratio, which is Metal Slug 4. And one last note on ACAs is that, interestingly enough, the Windows 10 has lower ratios on average than the Xbone counterparts, because they just do. I don't know. Does anybody have a theory on that?
Well, I keep talking, but I guess I'll just keep talking. Because the people who buy the Windows 10 version, by and large, are achievement hunters. You will find the occasional casual who... I love Magical Drop. I remember going to the arcade and playing that. So when it came available on... same with Puzzle Bobble. So when they came available via ACA Neo Geo, I didn't need to be asked twice. I was going to pick those up. If all I wanted to do was play that game, I would have just been fine with the Xbox version. But having the opportunity to get the achievements twice, I also made sure I had access to the Win 10 versions. And really, it's only people, or majority people in that mindset, who will bother with the stack version.
Yeah.
I agree completely. All right. Well, that is all the time we have tonight. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have some ideas for us of some lists you would like to see, please hit us up with some of your wonderful ideas. So I want to thank Em, Brooke, and Foof once again for joining me.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.